Hi, it's Nancy welcoming you to Garden Scroll.
I'm so glad I got this post. Today you will see when these forsythias were still in their yellow bloom and the pretty redbud trees were not all covered with snow. Although aren't they pretty this morning too, with all that snow covering them? That's something you don't see a lot of, and most usually we're glad. I hope this doesn't kill the bud, but at least we got to see them, and I have a picture of them here on for you, and I hope you enjoy it. It's March the 3rd, 2025, and we got a little bit of rain yesterday, and of course it looks all hazy and cloudy, but I wanted to show you some of the garden because it's just still a horrible mess from going dormant through the winter, and of course the annuals totally died out, and I'll have to deal with all of this. I still have a bunch of plastic bags on because they do protect the little plants that are inside them somewhat, and I'm hoping that this will open back up and be a bunch of beautiful little, let me get down here where you can see some of it, these tiny little Chinese dunce caps. So I'm hoping they'll be fine. We could still, I'm going to poke that back up around there a little bit, because we could definitely still get another freeze. I haven't heard anything about one, so we also may be done with that, but I'm going to guess we'll get another. But this is some of my before shots. I want to get some of these, and of course the main thing to clip all the old dead stuff back so the new stuff can come on. Let me show you in these again too, because these are my little sedum, and you can tell they're already coming on. So, but I do want to leave this over them for a while longer because it protects them, and we may still get another freeze. So even when I clear this off, I may leave this one here in the front for a little bit longer, but we'll see how that will go. And now we're coming up on the side that I have cleaned out. I even cleaned out these little pots here and my hanging pots. And then I've cleaned out this section right here as far as getting the old dead stuff away from it. And on the other side too, this little section. I'll probably come back and get some more of this, but I'm going to wait a little bit on it too. I don't want to lose it because I've got it trimmed back and the freeze come and then I lose it. I don't want to lose this little plant. I love it. So, oh goodness, look what I did. I left my clippers out here in the rain. Not good. I'll have to oil those up and see if I can sharpen them a little bit. So this one little area on both sides is all I've got cleaned up. This one, and from the carport, this little strip right here, and my husband actually came out and helped me with it. So I've got two little areas cleaned off, and I was so sore each time. The next morning, you know how that goes. So yes, it's a little rough job for me, and I totally hate it. But I do love it when you get it all cleaned out and you see all the new stuff coming up. This is a magic lilies. They'll make gorgeous greenery and then they'll just die. But then this late spring, early fall, they'll pop open with a big long stem and no foliage whatsoever. And that's why they're also called naked ladies, as well as magic lilies. And I'm seeing that my little rose is beginning to freshen up, and then it will get bigger and open those buds up, and it will be beautiful one of these days. Usually around May and June, the end of May or 1st of June, it will just come into its own. It's already came into its own as far as size, but its color and its beauty will open up those blooms and just shine, and we'll be so happy to see it when we come out here. Here's some of the stuff that, look at this, is another sedum, and look at all that's coming up inside there. It's going to be pretty. The blue spruce sedum, it just never does lose its color when it's going dormant. And I definitely want to put more sedums in these. I think I had no, this is a sedum. Oh, that's great. So I already have a sedum in this, and I remember this is a darker sedum, and I really like it there between those two, so that's great. And my little lilac bush, signs of spring here, you see also. But I'm grateful this morning for the rain. I also did plant some poppies in these little jugs, and I'm hoping to get some poppies started. I've been wanting to do that for quite some time, but I just haven't got them done. I've tried a few times, but haven't got it to work for me. I haven't had the time to just spend on them. So I'm hoping these will put up some little green shoots before too long. And I want to get some more of these actually done, but I wanted to get these out here in time for them to have a cold period, because they definitely need that cold period. That's one reason I haven't got some started before now, and I wanted to not have all this grass coming up here. This is such a chore. I can't tell you how much it is to get this. It always goes right down here, and just like a water floating down there, but it just gets so much grass there, and I'll have to dig all this up. I went ahead and put some germinator on there, but I put it on a little too late, so it's already germinated and coming up. So next year I've got to remember to do that way earlier. I'll have to get out here when it's cold and do that, but I think it would be worth it if that wouldn't come up. I don't see signs of life in my little evergreen tree, my blue spruce. So I guess that's not going to work for me. I sure wanted it to. So disappointed. Today is April the 1st, and I've been thinking about getting out and getting a little bit of a post for you. I wanted to get the forsythia bushes before they turn totally green. And there's a man from our church is wanting to bring his friend out and see the garden. And I think now is a good time because there's some color in the garden, and I think it's beautiful, the things that welcome spring. But I have missed, I was going to try to do that on the first day of spring, and there's several other times, but I've been trying to clean up the garden, and I don't know about you, but every time I try to clean up, I have visitors come that I have to take off for. I have doctor's appointments and places I have to go, and it's just seems like I can never just spend the time out there that I need to get it done. And you can probably tell by the raspiness in my voice that when I get out here in the garden working, especially with the old dead stuff from the previous year, my allergies just act up terrible, and I do take medicine for it, but sometimes it seems like it doesn't help. But I've tried it without medicine before in the past, and I know it does help. And certainly I do not have everything cleaned out. I have all of the front except for this little side over here. And I'm going to wait. We're going to have one more below freezing, at least one more. That's, I think, Sunday night or Monday. So I want to kind of wait on that before I'm so hoping that I don't end up losing these little green sedum that are coming up here. I need to clean all this old dead stuff out of them so they can be pretty, but until that frost comes, I'm not going to, and just simply because I cannot seem to get around to everything anyway. There's so much to do always, but I'm definitely going to try. This is my first year to try to make it easier on me, and I've got to see, well, how do I do that? Because one of my plans is to take away like this top one right here. I'll put it somewhere else because I want this bottom one to shine, and I do not want just a whole bunch of excess pots in here anymore. I'm going to take that top layer off. That's the plan anyway. And then I'm going to have more of the little sedum, or even the bigger sedums like this one right here. But I'm hoping to do many more sedum than anything else in the garden as far as in the pots, because they don't hold water long and they're always needing a drink. And this way maybe they'll just end up lasting a little bit longer and I don't have to water as often. I'm hoping that will be the case, but really this is just an experiment for me. I'll have to try and see if that will make some difference, and hopefully some good difference to get me where I can actually handle the garden. I have so much going that I'm always overwhelmed and I never get everything caught up, and I seem to never get relaxed and rested. So I'm going to try to change some of that if I can. And I just noticed that this sweet little dianthus is beginning to bloom. And my perennial alyssum has some little yellow buds that'll soon open to pretty bright golden yellow bloom. And the lemon has buds that will very soon open. And I've had to fight grasses in the garden like never before. This always flows right down here, and I've got this cleaned up now, but I always have to dig grass out here, and I've been trying to put some pre-emergent down, but I've got to start earlier. I did it in February and things were already taken off and going, so it's too late then. But I'll try again this at the end of this season. Look at this little oh gosh, I forgot the name of this little hosta. It's kind of like the big blonde, only it's not big. It's a tiny little hosta. It only gets, as far as what I've had it to get, it's probably been 6 to 8 feet tall at the most, and so bright and so beautiful. And I put this in last year and it has totally filled out this little pot. I thought, well, no, it missed a spot right here, but I looked a little closer and there definitely is one there, which will probably grow up and fill this out and be very beautiful. And the cherry tree, cherry blossoms are looking great. I may need to go around on the other side. It seems like it's looking a little shadow. Let me see if I can get it brighter for you. So I think that's a little brighter. Hopefully it is. And then another redbud, of course, right behind it there. But the blossoms are looking so good, and I just hated to miss. And you can tell they're going away. The green is coming through. They're not yet coming through on the not lilac, but the redbud trees. But it won't be long before these are all gone also. But they're such a wonderful enjoyment for the beginning of spring. And I do have this part of the back cleaned out, and all along the back side of the house, all along the west fence, And I'm pretty sure I'm going to go ahead and put this all in sedum. I see I've got some sedum there. I started to do that last year, and then I couldn't resist putting all the beautiful colors and textures of plants in there. But I'm going to try to resist this time. It's going to be different. I've got to make it different or else just quit. And honestly, how do you just quit on a garden? Because it's not going to quit. You know, the invasive stuff might take over and choke out some of the other stuff, but it's still going to be there, and weeds and all this old dead stuff. It's going to be a horrible mess. Isn't that strange that some of the things that are just the most awful messes can end up being the most beautiful if you clean them out and take care of them? And they do look beautiful, but unless you've been doing some of the work, you just don't know how awful it can be. I'm going to look, I think I may have shown you this, but I'm going to show it to you again. Isn't that pretty? And that was, of course, a Lenten rose. And I've got another one over here I've got to show you too. Isn't that pretty? See if I can turn this one where you can see it too. It's fading, but it's beautiful even with the faded color. But of course I need to get out here and get it cleaned up where it can shine. It can't shine in beauty looking like this. And we've had some 2 wind storms, and we usually do have winds, and it's windy right now, but nothing compared to the way it was. It was so terrible. It caused wildfires. People lost so much in it. It was just a terrible thing, but hopefully we'll have that behind us. And I'll be so anxious to get it done. I know nobody could believe that because I'm not getting it done. I'll just work a little while and I will be so tired I just can't keep going. And so I'll have to stop, and I did not used to do that. I would stay out here from the time I got up and got ready till the time till it got dark and I had to go in. So, and this is a flowering almond, which is also another little plant that won't stay this pretty green long. It will just, the pretty pink blooms long. It will just go to a little green bush. And here's another little tulip. I have very few because the voles get them all winter long. They eat on them, and usually they don't leave me any. So I've got to find a way to get rid of that, and then hopefully I can plant more tulips because I do love them. My 93-year-old mother said, "You come and get me. I'll help you clean out that garden." Which people mean well, but they do not know how hard it is. I barely can do it myself. And then if my mother was here, I'd be trying to get her more comfortable and take care of her needs rather than taking care of the garden. And that's usually the way it works with anybody. But I'm hoping that someday I will find someone who can and will help me clean out this garden, because I know I just can't keep on doing it. Or maybe I can. I'll do it as long as I can, but it's just taking such a toll, and I don't know for sure what I want to do with it now. Of course, one thing is to put more sedum in, and this I put in last year. I did fill up several last year, and I'm going to do more of them in sedum. You can tell this came right back from, even in this little pot, it came back. They don't always do that, but a lot of times they do. So I'm thinking if I have some in the ground, so that if I do lose them, I'll have some that are in the ground, and I can use those to restart some more. But hopefully most of the time they will go ahead and come back, and I'll just have to clear away the old dead stuff and let them go again and not plant. Even though I do love the color, when you put flowering plants in here that bloom and look beautiful, or just the coleus that just always have beautiful color. But I'm going to have to let some of that go. I will, however, put some in some of the bigger pots. I'm not sure which ones yet, but some of the bigger pots I will put some of the annuals, like geraniums, petunias. Oh, I'm not thinking, but there's lots of beautiful plants that I do want to put some of in the garden, but I do not want so many. This little pot gave up on me, so I'm going to throw it away, but first I'll take that soil out and use it to fill up a hole somewhere in the garden, or maybe in the bottom of the pot. But this is the pot I put in its place, and these are the sedum that I started in this little pot last year, so I transplanted them back into this one, and I think I'm going to like this one even better than putting pretty flowering plants there, simply because the sedum will be ready to go when this pretty, and I probably won't say this right, but but it will be a beautiful pink with a little white in it, and it's so pretty anyway. But when you have something there to just kind of top it off with, where it's not just a bare pot there, it looks even better in my opinion. I'm also going to have to put some more weed control fabric on this. We had the bright idea to try to mow these iris blades down in the fall, and of course my husband took it right down here and just ripped my, it was already beginning to lose its hold though, but it took it all, just made a mess out of it, and I need to replace that because there's so many weeds and grass. Get started here and then put seed down below on over and get into the flower beds. But I was mentioning earlier that this grass has been the absolute worst. Of course I will just spray this. I have sprayed it. It hasn't taken it away yet, and I may have to spray it again. Most usually I do. But I think it may be because of our we didn't hardly get any rain at all last spring or summer, but then in the fall we got some great wonderful rains, which I think is giving the garden a good start. But I think it also washed down those seeds, and they're coming up in the garden so prolifically. I cannot get it all done. I can't get the garden cleaned out for digging out grass and weeds, but eventually it will happen. But I wanted to show you this part of it now because it'll be gone, and these pretty peach blooms will be gone. And the winds I was telling you about took this little shelf totally down. I don't think I can fix it or use it for anything else. I'll probably end up throwing that away, but I'll wait and see before I make any total decisions. But I want to clean this mess up at least and do something with it. I don't know if I showed you that my daughter got me these little bags. Like my husband and I would have to open it up and let the wind blow it back down before we got over here to put something in it. But these, actually I've used this one where it's no longer stiff. I might need to get something to put inside it to hold it up, but they have been wonderful for using in the garden. And I wanted to show you, this is just what I've done this morning, and it's just so hard and such a mess to get it out of there. But we'll do it. I'll do it, Lord willing. Bridal spirea is just now beginning to have its tiny little buds on there. I hope you're able to see those. It won't be long though before they'll be fuller and pretty white and then cover the whole bush. And there's the lilacs. They are blooming right now and looking great. they should last a little bit longer too, because they just really got a good start. Let me see if I can smell those. They do smell good, but they're not as fragrant, as full of a fragrance as the old-fashioned lilacs are. But these are very pretty. I like them, and they're called Sensation Lilac. And here are some more of the sedum that I started last year, or maybe even earlier than that. I can't remember for sure when I did start these. But see, all I have to do is clip back this old dead stuff off of them. And they're ready to go. And some of my peonies are still fairly small, but some of them are tall and have buds. And I love the candy tuft. I still want it all along the border. I hope one day that will happen, and just keep right on happening. And look at this pretty little sedum. I've got the golden yellow green. This is the Angelonia, or Angelina sedum, and then I can't remember the name of this, but it's got the pretty blue cast, and I don't think either of these get very tall. I know the Angelina doesn't, but I think I'm going to put a taller one, something like what's in this little pot right here, on the back with the darker blue, and I think that will be a pretty little pot on its own, even with just sedum. My cactus did not fare well, and I hate that, but I think these two will do fine and go ahead and grow up and put me on some more panicles. I left these here to just dry and see if I could use them again, but they do not seem to be, I don't think that's going to happen. But we'll have those two, and hopefully they will make more and just keep going. But if I can get it like I want it, there will be less of the pretty. This was a beautiful coleus, and I forgot what all I had in there, but colors and blooms, and just, it was pretty. But I will miss that, I will. But maybe I'll have some time to actually enjoy the garden, because I have not had. It's just been work. And even with that, I haven't been able to keep it going and take care of it the way it should be taken care of. Even though I have tried and I have kept going, but it's just more than what I can do. So, and you can see this is another little sedum. I've used this all along to some extent, because they fill up a pot and look pretty without just so much care. And this little pot, I'm sure I showed you it last year, but I'm very proud of it. It took a while for these little sedum to get going in here, but I would say they're definitely going now. And hopefully I can keep them going. They look great. And in the fall, this particular sedum turns many shades of orange and pink and yellow, and just looks great. And these little pots I've never tried in just sedum. I've always enjoyed the pretty colors in these, but I'm going to plan on letting that go this year and seeing what I can do with basically just sedum. But you can tell that there's a alyssum volunteer coming up from last year's alyssum in here, And I'll probably leave that and see if it can make it through. My granddaughter came and requested iris and zinnia seeds, so that will not be a hard thing to get for her, and I will do that. And she also brought my great-grandson, yes, Max, and my other new great-grandson, Cade. And of course that was a wonderful day. We had also had my stepson and his son, and just had a really good day. It's so fun to be with family and to feel that love. So I definitely enjoyed it, but you know, that's another day that it kept me out of the garden. But anymore, it seems like I don't have very much time back here anyway before I just have to go in. So I don't know. It's just so discouraging. But it's always discouraging to clean the garden out for me. So I'm thinking once I get it cleaned out, I'll probably be ready to enjoy it again.
Please be sure to like and to subscribe to the channel.